All right. Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. My name is Morgan Heitzmo with Scott Leroy Marketing, and today we're going to be jumping into Docusign. So without further ado, there is going to be a Docusign 101 as well as a Docusign 201 class. Docusign 101, this class here today, is really just how to get set up and connected with your KW Docusign account, as well as how to find it within your KW command and start utilizing it to send out for signatures. In Docusign 201, there is going to be additional tips and tricks. So just note that if we don't cover everything here today, there is going to be that additional class there for you. Now, before we get started here today, just know that today's class is going to be recorded and can be found on our YouTube page. I'm going to go ahead and drop that link in the chat box down below for you. It should take about 24 hours or so to upload and process, so it may take about a day for you guys to see it on there, but you should have that within the next day or so. And without further ado, if you have any questions throughout today's training, please feel free to use this chat box down below. I'll do my best to stop in real time as we're navigating those specific platforms to help address any questions you guys may have. If I miss your question, just know that I'm going to stay for a few minutes at the end of class here today to help address those. And if by chance we need to kind of jump into your account and help troubleshoot some things, just know that you can always reach out to us at support@scottleroymarketing.com. I'll go ahead and throw that email in the chat box down below for you as well. All right. Now, as we're taking a look here, we are greeted with the KW command login page. I kind of like to start off here first because this is actually how we go to get our KW branded Docusign account and how we go ahead and connect it. So without further ado, if this is your very first time signing into KW command, it's going to be agent.kw.com or console.command.kw.com, but agent.kw.com should get you there. As we are taking a look here, we do have our KW username and password. This is what was given to you. This is what you sign into My KW command, as well as your command mobile application. So we'll go ahead and use Scott's KW login here today. And once we click sign in, this should bring us to our KW command homepage. And within our KW command homepage, if we take a look here, just to kind of orient ourselves, on the top left-hand corner, you're going to see a red KW square. And if we give this KW square a click, it should open up your navigational pages on the left-hand side right here. Where we're going to primarily find Docusign is going to be within your opportunities here. But we're going to need to first set up a few connections in order to kind of see and utilize this tool within your opportunity here. So the first thing to do is we're going to go ahead and click on our name on the top right hand corner. This should bring a drop down here for you. And within this drop down, we'll see an option called settings. Giving settings a click here, this should bring you to your KW command settings page. And on the right-hand side are going to be all of these third-party applications that you can go ahead and connect with your KW command. Now, it's pretty straightforward here. If you have Twitter, we can go ahead and connect Twitter. If you have Instagram, we can connect Instagram. The Docusign portion is actually going to be a little bit different in this context, in where this is actually how you send a KW-branded Docusign registration out to your email. So you see that I already have mine connected here, so I'll just go ahead and disconnect this. And you should typically find your Docusign underneath digital signature and transactions if you have yet to connect it here. Now, when we click on the connect button, it should say your preferred first name as well as your preferred last name and a preferred email. If we take a look at the world of logins here, we're still missing that password, but just note that once we send this registration email to this address here, Docusign is going to send an email with a button that says click here to finalize or authorize your account, and that's where you'll go ahead and create your password as well as your security question. Now, again, there's going to be a couple things before I proceed forward here. If you already have a if you already have a Docusign account, like a personal Docusign account that you created, I don't know, years ago to help you sign your very first home, your personal home that you moved into, right? And if you already have an email that's connected to an outside Docusign account that's not a KW branded one, unfortunately, that email address is going to be incompatible. Docusign really generates their accounts based off of email addresses. So if one's already created outside of KW, you'll get this ugly red error down below here that says, unfortunately, this email already has an account connected. Now, if you've already connected your KW Docusign account and you need to just like disconnect and reconnect it, or something funky happened within the connection process and you need to just reconnect it over again. In this case, I already have a KW branded Docusign account, the one that you saw us disconnect here. And in this case, I can just actually click on this login here button to fill out my KW email and password. We'll go Morgan Heitzma. We'll log in Docusign. Depending on how long it's been since you've signed into Docusign last, you may get a pop-up here. Again, this password was that password that I created during that registration process. So once I sent that KW branded Docusign email over to my address. So I'll click login here. This should finalize that connection. Up at the top here, it says Docusign is now ready and can be found within our opportunities document section. So that's your indicator right there that we have successfully connected our KW Docusign account. And if you see right below here, it should also indicate what email you have connected to this account as well. Now, again, if you're seeing that error, one of two things may happen. I'll disconnect this really quickly here. If you're seeing that error when you're going to connect, you may have two errors that present right below your preferred email. The first one may say that there's it may be a longer red error message, and that means that that you already have that email connected to a third-party Docusign. If it's a small error, like a one-sentence error that says this account's already connected, chances are you may just need to click the login here button and then sign in that way. Chances are the smaller red error means that you already have the KW account. You just need to log into it. Whoops, I actually need to log back in here. There we go. And we'll go ahead and sign in one more time. Now, as we're taking a look right here, again, at the very top, it is connected. It's also in the connected app section as well. It moved all the way up to the top here. Again, this is a great indicator that we do have Docusign successfully connected now. Again, and if you're having issues with this, please feel free to reach out to us, support@scottleroymarketing.com. And we can go ahead and troubleshoot your account for you as well. How do you log into Docusign through KW? That fantastic question. We're actually going to navigate to there here. We're going to navigate to there here in about a minute or so. As we're taking a look, the second setup is going to be creating a contact. So remember, inside of KW Command, everything draws off of the contact. To which contact do you want to apply a smart plan or a campaign to? To which contact do you want to add this tag to? To which contact do you want to create an opportunity for? So we have to create a contact first. And again, clicking on our red KW square in the top left-hand corner here, you should see your contact section. The second from the top here is going to be right below your home page. Now we already have a contact in here, and if you guys are interested in learning some more techniques on managing your database, we do have a full in-depth database class for you as well. So if I skip through this pretty briefly, just know that there are additional resources here for you. In this case right here, I already have one contact inside of my database. I can go ahead and add more contacts if I'd like. If you guys have a list, you can go ahead and send it over to us. We'll help you import it. But in this example here, I'm just going to use this contact that's already within my database here. I'm going to go ahead and click on this contact's name. And again, on the left-hand side is going to be all the information that we filled out when we actually created the contact. On the right-hand side is going to be all of the activities that are currently happening with the contact. So on the right-hand side, it starts off with the timeline. But if we move over here a little bit more, you'll see our opportunities. And this contact does not have an opportunity just yet, but we can actually create an opportunity in two different ways. But if I would say it all depends on what your primary focus is on that point in time. If you're currently contact focused, I would maybe create opportunities through this section right here, because we're currently working on fake name here. We may be entering in additional information, adding some save searches, and maybe we forgot to create a opportunity for this individual. We can very much do so here by clicking on create opportunity. And this should give you that opportunity form, much like you see within the actual opportunities page. So here we can just very quickly create an opportunity. So this one's going to be a listing here. It already pulls in the client's name because that's where we're currently working from. So we don't have to search for the client. And as we scroll down here a little bit more, there's just going to be a few more options here for us. The commission percentage. And then our cultivate and watch, or sorry, our opportunity phase and our opportunity stage right here. If you're already currently halfway through a transaction with this contact right here, you can move them all the way up to active negotiations. But once it hits under contract, then it kind of acts like a locked in deal. So you may have to manually move them within that actual opportunity. But in this case right here, let's start off at the very beginning with a cultivate watch here. I'm going to go ahead and create that. And now we have a listing for fake name right here. I'm going to go ahead and click on the red KW square one more time. And then now I'm going to make my way over to our opportunities. In opportunities right here, you'll see within cultivate, we'll see fake name listing, that listing that we just created. And then again, let's create one more here for the buyer on the actual opportunities page. So in this case, since it's not a specific contact we're working on, we'll have to search for that contact here. And then again, we'll go ahead and enter that into the cultivate, the beginning cultivate stage right here. Okay, perfect. So in this case, we've just created a buyer opportunity as well as a listing opportunity. So it's pretty cool to again know how quickly you can just get those two started here. You'll see that buyer, fake name buyer right here. So now as we're starting to take a look at our Docusign here, this is where we're going to go to find that Docusign connection. So I'm actually going to check out the listing side here first. So we'll give fake name listing a click here, and it should open us up into that opportunity. Once we're inside of this opportunity, you see it starts us off on the details tab. If we move over two different tabs here, you'll see our documents. And if we give this a click, this is where we actually go to submit our documents to our market center for review. Now, Natasha asked, how do you log into Docusign through KW? This is actually going to be that page that we sign in to Docusign from. So right here, before we actually jump into our Docusign, on the left-hand side here, since this is a brand new opportunity, we're going to first need to pick a checklist type right here. Is this a residential listing? Is this a commercial listing? So keep in mind, your checklist type is going to look different than mine. Each market center creates these checklists. So again, yours may look completely different than mine, and that's completely okay. In this case, I'm just going to choose a simple residential listing. Once that opens up, you'll also see listed, under contract, and closed. And here are all the different forms that your market center is asking for you to submit in order to be approved and and for you to carry on through the transaction here. As we're taking a look, you'll see your first section is the attached files from computer right here. So this will be your first option right here. You can click or you can browse, you can drag and drop, but that's all you really have at the very beginning. If we take a look up at the very top, right above attached files from computer, you should see a dark gray button that says start a transaction. Now, if you do not see this button right here, this means that we may need to go back to our settings here and double check that connection and make sure that our DocuSign is successfully connected. If you don't see it here, chances are we didn't quite connect that DocuSign just yet. Now, the second thing you may see is a dark gray button right here. This indicates that you do have your KW DocuSign connected in your settings, but there's not a room connected to this opportunity just yet. Once we actually give this a click, it's going to open up a new tab for us. And it's also going to change this button color to something that looks similar to this right here. These kind of buttons, kind of like a white with a blue text in the middle. And instead of start a transaction, it'll say go to transaction. And as we are clicking on this button right here, you'll see that pop up in real time. You'll see that room has been created. And then again, you'll see that button change to go to transaction right here. So not only that, but it also gave you an additional section right here. Instead of attached files from computer, now you have attached files from Docusign. So now you can choose between Docusign and your files on your computer. And as we're taking a look, you'll see this room right here. It may or may not populate forms here for you at the very beginning. Again, this is totally dependent on your market center. So in this case right here, I may delete all of these just to kind of give us a fresh blank slate. There we go. And so now we have a fresh, clean Docusign room right here. What I believe most people would typically find when they click on that Go to Transaction button, this is what they would typically see right here. Now, what's really cool about this, and we kind of started this from scratch, right? So we connected our Docusign account, we created an opportunity. So again, this is a brand new listing opportunity right here. If we go back to our details, you'll see we didn't quite enter in any information other than listing, client's name, and basically what percent of the commission rate that we're going to receive here. With our listing opportunities, you have a awesome button on the very top here that says select from listings that allows you to pre-populate information on your property here. So this is why I kind of want to start off with the listing first. You won't quite have this button within a buyer's opportunity. You may have to enter that information manually when you find that property that client's interested in. But for the listing opportunities right here, you can pull this listing in automatically. Now, why is this important? As we're taking a look right here inside of our Docusign room, this is where you're really going to do all of your work in terms of filling out your forms, sending your forms out for signatures, having those clients sign and send them back here. And then once your forms are all signed, sealed, delivered, then we can go ahead and upload them into our opportunity here. So this is where basically all of your work on your documents are going to take place. The kind of the home page of the Docusign room is going to spit you out in your documents tab right here. So every time we click on go to transaction, it should bring you up into that documents tab right here. So this is again where it's always going to kind of place you. And as we take a look right next to documents, you'll have details, people, envelopes, messages, and history right here. Taking a look at this, we don't have any documents just yet, but taking a look over at the details tab right here, it kind of pulled in all the information that we have on this listing. So again, going back to this details here, our listing name is fake name listing, right? Our client's name is fake name. If we go to our details tab inside of our Docusign rooms, you'll see that that name for the opportunity is fake name listing. We are on the listing side. It shows you which market center you belong to. And as we scroll down right here on the right-hand side, you'll see that seller's information. So fake name and their contact info. Now, you should also see, since we are in Scott's KW command, Scott should be the seller's agent. So if we scroll down here a little bit more on the right-hand side, you'll see that listing agent. You'll see Scott's information populate right here. So, so again, it does a great job of pulling in opportunity information that you place here. So I'd encourage you guys to start off by filling out your opportunity, because once you connect that Docusign, there's going to be a sync transaction button right here. And you'll see everything's kind of synced because we didn't adjust anything just yet. But say if I actually found that listing. So I'm going to type in 123 Main Street. I'm going to hit search right here. And then I'm just going to select just a standard listing. But once I selected that listing, it populated all this information. So 123 Main Street, the zip code, the state, the city, the county. So now you have all this information that may be different than your details tab right here. So now we have our listing information. And all we really need to do is I typically refresh the page first if I do any adjustments. Make sure that it is saved. And then you'll see these edit buttons right here. So this typically means that you've made some changes in your opportunity that your Docusign hasn't quite found or connected just yet. So in this case right here, we would just simply sync transaction. We'll hit update right here. Give it a refresh one more time. And you'll see that it has a resynced with that opportunity, or sorry, with that Docusign. We don't see it here just yet, but again, we do have to refresh one more time. But as we do so here, you'll see all of that listing information populate in here. So again, name of the game is fill out the opportunity, and then once you sync it with that sync button, let me see right here, that sync transaction button, then it'll carry all that information over to your Docusign room. Now, why is this important? Docusign actually has a system of forms called Power Forms, and this actually pulls detailed information from your Details tab and applies it to each of these forms, so you don't have to spend time filling out the same piece of information over and over and over again. It is super cool. So as we're taking a look, we don't have any documents just yet. To connect our documents, we'll click on our name on the top right-hand corner here, and then we're going to click on Preferences. Now, as we're clicking on Preferences right here, we do have a number of different options on the left-hand side. We're actually going to click on the Integrations tab, the very last tab here. And within this tab, this will allow you to connect your Market Center forms as well as your board forms. So wait for that to load up here for a second. So if this is your very first time seeing this section, you may not have a company forms section right here. You may only have a blue button that says Add Provider. And if we click that blue button that says Add Provider right here, this should give you 6 different boards, as well as a small little piece of text down here that says Continue to Company Forms without validation. This allows you to pull in your Market Center forms without connecting your board forms just yet. So I would first suggest clicking on this right here if you haven't. I already have, so it's already pulled in right here. And then next, it's going to really truly depend on which system you guys use. I know California, those who are in California may use zip forms. For those kind of everywhere else, you guys may use your NRDS, right? So as we're taking a look at the very top right here, if you are a state or an area that uses zip forms, up at the very top here, you'll click on this arrow, and this will allow you to sign in to your zip forms using your username and password. Once you sign in here, you should be able to pull transactions folders as well as forms that you're currently working on. So your libraries and your transactions folders. Add provider one more time for those who are connecting their realtor association. Again, you have a number of different associations right here, and then you have your national association. So giving this a click, you'll fill in your 9-digit NRDS, your last name, and then you'll go ahead and find your association that you belong to. Now, once you have that connected here, then we can go back to our rooms, and we should be able to pull all the different forms that belong to our market center as well as our board here. So I'm just going back here to our document section. Again, you can get back here simply by clicking on your opportunities go to transaction button. And once you connect your forms here, at the top right-hand corner, you'll have a couple different blue buttons. You'll have add and actions. Now, I'll kind of cover both of these here, but the add button is probably going to be the most important. Clicking on add, you should see a number of different locations that you can pull forms in from. And the Docusign forms are really going to be where those power forms are. But again, for those of you who are using those zip forms, you have that option right here as well. So I'm going to click on I'm going to click on Docusign forms right here. On the left-hand side, it says select a form. So as it's loading in right here, you should have packets as well as libraries. Libraries will consist of your market center and board forms. The packets are going to be a way for you to pull any of these forms together and create your own kind of folder of specific documents that you need to use. So as we scroll down here, you may not have as many options as I have right here, but you should have at least your board as well as your market center. Market center is pretty easy to spot. It says KW with your market center number. Up at the top here, it'll give you your your board association and abbreviations for you to pull those types of forms. As we're taking a look right here, if I give any of these a click, it should allow me to pull in a selected form. You see I pull that in. But just note that if you pull in a specific form right here, you can't pull it in for a second time. So it'll say that it's in use right here. So again, if you messed up that form, you might as well delete it, and then you can start again from scratch that way and pull it in. But only one form pulled into your Docusign room at a time. So if you want to pull any more forms in, again, you have this preview eyeball on the right hand side, and this allows you to kind of sample the form to make sure that this is the correct form that you want to pull in. If this doesn't quite look like the form, you can go ahead and skip it, and then we'll go ahead and add a few more options. Now, one last option that we have right here is going to be, you notice that if I click on this form, I don't really have this drop down, but if I go up and I click on this form right here, you do see a kind of a drop down option. This is the this is the work of a packet right here. So this allows you to be able to create a template and say, oh, I actually pre-populated some information, so I can use this one instead and pull this one in. So now you have an option to choose between a packet form of the GAMLS, or you can choose just that standard template. So pretty cool. But let me pull in a few more forms here. Just add selected here. And as we start to pull these forms in, again, you have a couple different options here. We can just simply click on the big square, And it should pull in this form for us to be able to not only view, but we can add additional information to this as well. Again, what you'll see with these forms within Docusign is it pre-populated that information. Again, that 123 Main Street, the city, state, zip code, the agent's name. So you have all this information that, again, you can just kind of quickly scan through and then fill out at any missing pieces. But really cool. The more information that you have on your opportunity, the more it can sync to your details, and the more information you have on your details, the more it will fill in your forms here. Now, again, clicking on the square kind of gives you that pop-up right here. Let me go ahead and enter something in real time. Give this a second here. And again, street name. Again, I can type in Main Street right here. And just note, as we go to send this out for signatures, your client is not going to have all these options. This is just for you to fill out the form. There's a completely different section that we're going to go to here in a minute for you to allow your clients to fill out for signatures or fill in specific boxes as well. So in the gray boxes right here, see all these are gray. These are going to be hidden after we send that envelope out. So anything populated here, the gray box will kind of go away and it'll just say 123 Main Street. All right, so I did type in Main Street on right here on that street name. We can save and close. It should retain that information. When we're happy and we're done filling out these documents right here, we can send them out to get signatures. So we'll wait a second for that. And how we create an envelope, you have a couple different options, but probably one of the quickest, easiest ways is probably staying on this documents page. And on the top left-hand corner of all of these documents that you pull in, you should have a checkbox right here. So if I go ahead and select a couple of these, you'll see that a new menu option populates right here. And within these menu options, somewhat in the middle, you'll see Create Envelope. It looks like a pen here. Let me pull in that second form here. And we're going to go ahead and create a new envelope. And what an envelope is for those of you who maybe their very first time using Docusign here, it's truthfully a fancy word for an email. If we think about the way that we physically mail an envelope out with documents in it, that's essentially what they're using the same vernaculars as sending an email out for electronic signatures. Now, in this case right here, you have select recipients. This option allows you to pull in seller 1 and seller 2 from the details right here, so we don't have to enter in their name and email address. This is totally your choice, up to you. I can choose seller 1. I can uncheck it and click on continue here. Again, it does give me a reminder if I want to select recipients, but in this case right here, I can click on continue. And it should bring me to the next page where I'm filling out kind of that email information. All right, there we go. First and foremost is what documents are attached to this email right here, or this envelope. So again, we can go ahead and view these. Just make sure these are the correct sheets right here. If we need to upload or add any more, we have this third box right here. We can click on upload. We can pull something in from our computer. We can pull something in from our Docusign room. In this case, let's go ahead and add one more room document right here. And you'll see they'll pull up all the forms that I have in that room. It'll add that third document in here for us. All right, perfect. So it did take kind of a minute. So again, as we pulled 3 forms in right here, these are all 3 forms that the client's gonna see and sign. Scrolling down here, we're gonna add our recipients. So First and foremost, we may want to add our seller's information. So fake name. There we go. Name at email.com. And then maybe we want to add in Scott's name, since Scott is the seller's agent. And as you type in information here, as long as you have it added to your address book within Docusign, and that's more of a Docusign 201 class, you should be able to automatically pull in this information right here. So, I'll go ahead and use Scott's email right here. And now we have a signer 1 and signer 2. It does say seller 1, seller 2, but that's dependent on the forms that I pulled in right here. But as we're taking a look, you'll see signer 1 is designated with a 1 right here. Signer 2 is designated with a 2. One thing to keep in mind is sometimes when we deal with technology doesn't quite always work the way that we intend them to. And so this is a little warning here to kind of double check these, because if we start rearranging and say, well, actually, I need Scott to be signer number 1, watch what will happen to the signing order right here. You'll see now they both change to signer number 1 right here. So again, sometimes with technology, we may have to enter that in manually, and now we can kind of adjust that for Scott's signer number 1 and fake name is signer number 2. So if both of these were signer number 1, they'd both receive the form at the same exact time. Again, it could confuse things and hinder the timeline process of getting all the signatures out and sent back to you. So again, please keep in mind, we may need to adjust this manually if we're shifting these names around here. There we go. And last but not least, what we have right at the very bottom is basically your email subject line and any additional information that you want to provide within this email address. The email subject line, of course, is self-explanatory. They do a good job of combining whatever forms you have, and please DocuSign this specific form. And they also do a pretty good job of creating a nice email for the client to just click on a button and sign here. I don't really need to add any additional information, but if you needed to say, we actually need this back by end of day Friday, please let us know if there's anything we can do to help expedite this. Anything that you need to add any additional information on that email, you can do so here. And then next, we're going to go ahead and click the next button on the very bottom right here. And this will take us into actually filling out the form and applying where people need to sign, where people need to initial, and so on and so forth. So the best way to look at this is the left-hand side are going to be all of your tools. The right-hand side are going to be all of the options for those tools. And the center are going to be your sheet or your documents. So let's start off with the tools first. The left-hand side, top left-hand corner, you'll have the ability to click on this drop-down and choose who is signing what. So it's all dependent on the colors here. That's how they defer the different signers. And as we kind of go, we can just simply click and drag any kind of tool that we need over to the placement. Now, also note that when I drug that signature over, it gave me on the right-hand side all of these signature options. So a good example is I just toggled over to Scott. If I needed Scott to sign this, if I needed it to be a required signature, you'll see that it's actually checked on automatically right here. An optional, if we uncheck this, you'll see that it's kind of grayed out similar to these other boxes here. If, say, I made a mistake and say, it's actually Scott doesn't need to sign right here, fake name needs to sign right here, I can move that over and I can adjust it on the right-hand side here. And again, you'll see that a yellow box here. So again, left-hand side's tools, right-hand side are options for the tools. Let's go ahead and take another closer look at this. Clicking and dragging, you can really place this anywhere. If you need to delete it, I'll just hit the backspace. I'm going to scroll all the way down to where we actually maybe find a signature location here for us. There we go. And it looks like it already pulled in a signature for both sides right here. This is probably what pulled in that information for seller 1 and seller 2 is this specific form right here. But as we scroll down, you'll see that they have these signatures and dates signed. A date signed is going to kind of give you a long string of dates. So I think it's date and time. Unfortunately, I don't believe there's a way to adjust that. But again, it is a timestamp based off of when this individual has opened up and signed this document right here. So you do have that at least. If you need to adjust, see the signature size is overlapping. You see how this is overlapping the second signature line. Again, you can go ahead and manually place these in here, and you can adjust it accordingly to fit the appropriate size right here. There we go. That way it doesn't cut off the text on the top, and that way it doesn't cut off the signature on the bottom section. If I like this sizing right here and say I need another signature that same size, I can right click and copy. And then you have two different versions of paste here. So you have paste, which will just paste it kind of like kitty corner down below the original. But you also have this option, paste to location. So if I scroll all the way up and say I actually need that right here, I can paste to location. It'll actually give me that signature section right there. In this case, I'll paste to location right here. Maybe adjust it a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and change the recipient to fake name right here. There we go. And then again, date signed. We can just go ahead and either adjust this ever so slightly. There we go. Again, there's no real sizing on the date signed. Just like I mentioned previously, it's just one kind of long string right here. So perfect. Another few things to kind of note is we have initial right here. Another fantastic thing, it'll just kind of give their initials on a specific section if they need to. And then you'll have checkboxes. I kind of wanted to go over checkboxes here because as we scroll up here, you'll see that we have a number of different checkboxes right here. These, again, keep in mind, if they're in gray format, this is only going to be for you, the client, to fill out. Sorry, not you, the client, you, the agent, to fill out. Your clients are not going to see the option to check and uncheck these. So if they need an option to check and uncheck, you'd have to drag their specific color over. Again, is it going to be optional or read only? They'll have the ability to check and uncheck that. Drop downs are fantastic as well. They're probably one of my favorites here, just because of their ease and functionality. Giving a look on the left hand side right here, we'll scroll all the way down to drop down. It's going to be right below checkbox. And if you need to give a few options for your clients here, it's going to start off pretty blank. On the right hand side, again, who's going to be the one selecting this, Scott or fake name, signer 1 or signer 2. But if we scroll down here just a little bit more, it looks like they have a lot of settings, but we really just need to focus on this one right here. So we have a list option. Our default option is select, so that's why it says select right here. But if I go ahead and add options, I can add my option number 1. I can add option number 2, and then I'll add an option for number 3 right here. Whoops. I'll give that a click. So now I have 1, 2, and 3. And if I double click on this pretty quickly here, you'll see a real-time version of what this looks like. So now they can actually select 1, 2, or 3 right here. So, so pretty cool. Radio buttons are going to be very much the same as our checkboxes as well. So again, I did notice that we did have some radio boxes. There we go. So right here, construction status, if we wanted to, if there's a specific thing for your signers to check or unchecked. And then this is another cool thing too. So before I even had the opportunity to drag another one over, it kind of sensed that there was another checkbox down below here. So it allowed me to kind of give another click. So two of these kind of showed up at the same time. So so they do act pretty smart in terms of picking up what's already kind of currently on this document right here. This is the power of the power forms, right? Now, once we're satisfied with this, let's see here. A great example is, let me scroll all the way up to the top. We're satisfied with this information. Before we send it out, we want to just at least preview this to make sure that everything is correct. On the top right-hand corner, if we click on this preview button, this is what it's going to look like for that information. It looks like it's a little bit out of order, so we may have to go back in and readjust this ever so slightly. But as we kind of scroll through here, it should pull in that that specific information. So so again, as we are filling these bits of info out, you'll see that again, your clients are not going to be able to select or check any of this info. It's just going to automatically place in here for you. And once we're happy and satisfied with this, see, here we go. We can adjust this ever so slightly if it's covering up some of that information. There we go. We can preview one more time. And this is why it's super important to preview. Just make sure that nothing is like overlapping. So now we have city, state, and zip. That looks a little bit better. Office name, that looks great. May need to adjust the agent name to be a little bit more readable, but yeah. And there we go. So once we're happy with this, we'll hit send on the bottom right hand corner here. Let's see. I do believe I have at least a signature for Scott and a signature for fake name here. So clicking on send, and I'll say that it has successfully sent to that individual. And one thing that I forgot to show you guys before we sent that out is right next to preview. When you go to create on the top right hand corner, right next to preview, you do have an option to save as a draft, right? So if you're not completely ready to send that out just yet and you're still working on it, there is a save as draft in the additional options section. Now that we have an envelope out, so we pulled some documents from our document section right here. We pulled it into an envelope. We sent an envelope out to get signatures. Now, in this case right here, we would just simply wait for those individuals to find our email, sign our email. And once all parties have signed, those documents are going to come back to this same folder here. And instead of having this blue icon, let me zoom up just a little bit here so you can see these. Instead of having this blue power form icon right here, you'll actually have a green form that says, like, it'll have a checkbox, a check mark, and it'll say like signed or something. So very easy to indicate which forms are signed and which are just still kind of in draft. Now, once you have your signed forms that come back here, I may encourage you to kind of divide these out here. And again, this may be more of a Docusign 201 tip, but in this case, taking a look at this blue actions button, we have add folder, and this allows you to create a number of different folders within your room right here. So I'm just going to write signed. I'm going to name this our signed folder. So now in our room docs, we have just our catch-all of documents that we're working on. And once these come back in as signed ones with the green check marks, I'm just going to drag them up to my signed section to easily organize this. Say it's been a week or two and I've been still waiting on signatures and I'm not quite sure what's going on, maybe not 2 weeks, but giving a click here, we can always go back to our envelopes and kind of see what's going on or who we're currently waiting on to sign this document here. Giving our envelopes a click right here, you'll see a section called recipients. And again, this is why it's very important to have signer number 1, signer number 2, signer number 3, so on and so forth. Is because after each individual signs right here, it's going to carry down that timeline. So if fake name went on vacation and Scott's currently waiting for fake name to sign, we may have to reach out to fake name, or we may have to resend if fake name lost the email, so on and so forth. So in this case, you can at least identify who we're currently waiting on to get those signatures. Now, say fake name did accidentally delete this email and they don't know where it is, they can't sign it. Again, clicking on this resend button right here should allow you to resend those documents. Scott's going to get 2 random Docusign emails from me today. Now, one last thing is, if we made a mistake on our form, we can always correct it as well. So giving this correct button a click, it should jump you back into those forms for us to make any of those adjustments. Say I accidentally placed a signature spot for Scott when I meant to do it for my client, right? So so we can go ahead and adjust that accordingly. Everything looks good right here. But maybe this section right here, we'll scroll all the way down. You'll see how these are disorganized. We may need to adjust this here. And there we go. Now everything is corrected. Everything looks great. So now we can go ahead and hit that correct button. And again, you do have that discard changes or preview right here. And then we can hit correct. So correcting this envelope is going to resend it back out. So so as you see right here, we have a corrected envelope that again is currently waiting for fake name to sign first, and then for signer number 2. So I think that's going to be a fantastic place to kind of pause here today. I know I have a few extra minutes, so I might as well just show you a couple extra tips. Again, if you guys have any additional questions, please throw them into the chat box as well, and I'll be able to kind of address those for you. So a couple other things to maybe mention here before we take off today is all of these sections that we were in today is within 123 Main Street. That opportunity that we created here. So everything that we were doing was in that 123 Main Street, aside from connecting our forms. If we take a look at this menu right here, it's below our title. So again, we can say everything we're doing is inside of this. But if we scroll up a little bit more, you'll have another set of options as well. You'll have our dashboard, rooms, inbox, and my documents right here. This goes outside of your opportunity, and this kind of gives you some additional resources here. So if I click on rooms, these are all the different opportunities that I have created that has a Docusign room connected to it. So here you'll be able to see what's a listing and what's a buyer right here. It'll kind of give you that tag. If we move over a little bit more, and I can jump in back and forth between different opportunities that I've kind of created. So I can kind of work on that right here as well. Taking a look at my documents right here, this is going to be where you go to kind of create the packets. But please keep in mind that packets can only draw from your market center and board forms. Okay, so basically you're saying which market center form or which board form do I want to build off of, and then use that one as a template. So we can do this here. You'll see that you'll have a new packet right here. I'll give this a click. Whatever the most recent, it goes by numerical value, which is sorted by A to Z pretty much. So if I just do maybe star 1 1, it should hopefully push it all the way up to the very top here. So again, alphabetical order, you do have an ability to sort this as well, but again, if you're not finding it, it may be within these additional pages right here. And then secondly is going to be your library. So which library do you want to pull these forms from? So again, we only have these ones to choose from. GAMLS, I think that's what I used earlier today. So I'll select that. And again, if I wanted to create a template off of one of these specific forms or both of these forms, right, I can do so. I'm just going to choose one right here. I'm going to hit save. And then now you have a form packet right here that we can view or we can create a template off of. So, and then of course you can manage the forms as well. So again, more of a Docusign 201 thing, but something to keep in mind as well. You can kind of create templates, but they're only going to be for these specific documents here. On the top right-hand corner here, if we click on our name and we click on contacts right here, this is where you go to enter in your specific contacts. Now, every once in a while, I'll get this question about the directory. The directory, again, is something for your company, your office, right? So, so you may not be able to edit or adjust these or add these, but right next to your directory is going to be your address book, which this is where you can enter your personal information, right? So if I have John Smith, Morgan, John Doe, Sally Smith, Sally Sue, right? So any contacts that you personally have, you can go ahead and add them in right here. And then once you go through your envelope and start typing in Morgan, it'll pull up all the different Morgans you have in your Docusign and allow you to be able to select the one with the correct email. So super cool here. One last thing is going back to our rooms. If you're working with a team or if you're working with a transaction coordinator, something similar to that, and you need to invite them to your room. Notice how I went back to my 123 Main Street, my fake name listing right here. If we see inside of the actual Docusign room, you'll have a section called People. People need to be invited to this room. Now, first you'll see your Market Center staff. Please do not delete them. That's how your Docusign room runs functionally. And in this case right here, if I have anybody I want to invite to work on documents with me. So this is working on documents. This is internal. So this is where you would invite team members, not clients. The address book would be where you add the clients. Again, here you'd enter in the email, first and last name, what side of the transaction they're on, and then what type of rules that they would be needing. It should send an email over to that individual, and then they can accept, and then they should be able to sign in and help you work on that room. All right, I know I went a little bit quick on the small little bits of tips there, but again, just keep in mind, if you guys have any additional questions, just please let me know. We're always here to help. I'm going to drop the email in the chat box down below for you, support@scottleroymarketing.com. I'm also going to drop the YouTube link in the chat box down below as well. This video should be uploaded within about 24 hours or so. And again, thank you so much. Have a fantastic Friday. And if there's anything else we can do to help, please let us know.